Kyle Busch says he is hurt by his Joe Gibbs Racing departure, and I'm about to show you right here what he had to say about leaving Joe Gibbs, and it got emotional. Kyle Busch has been part of Joe Gibbs Racing for 15 years, and although there were many ups and downs, the success on the track speaks for itself. Busch has tallied up the most wins of any driver in the Cup Series with 60 wins, obviously making him the only driver to crack that 60 win mark. I mean, we're not even going to mention his Xfinity Series and Truck Series wins, since this is more about his tenure with Joe Gibbs in the Cup Series, but he also is the only active driver with more than one Cup championship, being a two-time Cup Series champion. It's safe to say he has done enough to earn himself a sure spot in the Hall of Fame, as he's had a fantastic career as a race car driver. But Kyle Busch also had many blunders as the race car driver personality, as we all know. The 18 car M&M's driver is one of those guys that you either love him or you hate him. He's just been very polarizing for years now. Busch has grown familiar with playing the villain role within the sport of NASCAR, and it's honestly an entertaining aspect of the sport to have someone like that. It just gets the fans riled up and makes the sport more interesting and creates more engaging storylines. Like just from this year's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2022, it's freaking hilarious to me whenever the crowd goes absolutely nuts. They lose their minds whenever Kyle Busch's day ends due to whatever malfunction it was with the engine, a blown tire, whatever that may be. Not that I'm rooting against Kyle Busch I'm not rooting for Kyle Busch to have anything like that happening to him during the race. Like, I want everyone to compete just because, I mean, that just makes it more interesting. But I guess sometimes these kinds of unexpected turns bring more entertainment value as well, especially when it's Kyle Busch. But yeah, no, Kyle Busch has been a complete jerk at times, obviously, and he does have the greatest interviews, I will admit. But you know, it seems like he's become sort of comfortable with that role over the years of the villain. Basically, what I'm saying, and what Kyle Busch said, which I'll show you here in a sec, is that Joe Gibbs will put up. I mean, he's been putting up with a lot. It must have been like taking care of a man-child, but Kyle Busch did speak on looking back on his memorable career with Joe Gibbs. But before I show you what Kyle Busch said about his time with Joe Gibbs, I just want to remind you all that 98% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed, which, I mean, that's insane to me. So hey, do me a favor, if you'd be kind enough to do so, and hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free and easy. And ring that bell to be notified whenever we upload a new video. Hit that like button as well if you're enjoying so far, as that also helps out a lot, more than you know. I appreciate you all for doing that real quick. Now let's get right back into it. Now I'm going to show you what Kyle Busch said about Joe Gibbs and his departure from the team. And honestly, he sounds pretty emotional here, an emotional tone to it. The Candyman talks about JGR using words like family, and he even admitted like, hey, Coach Gibbs has had his back through the toughest times for all those 15 years. So that's why he's hurt by the whole situation. Busch was in such a good spot there, racing for a man who had his back all those times. He made it difficult for him, and most importantly, they were winning races. And that's what it came down to at the end of the day. It was a great team all these years with Kyle Busch, and now he says he's emotionally torn. Or at least he was throughout the process of going through that whole deal with Joe Gibbs and deciding to leave Toyota's JGR for Richard Childress at Chevy's RCR. Now, you may be asking, is Kyle Busch, of all people, playing the victim or acting like he's innocent in all this? Like he doesn't know why this happened? Can we put some of the blame on Joe Gibbs for this? Sure, as far as we know, but Kyle Busch has been his own worst enemy. Not only has his polarizing personality made him a harder sell for sponsors, but he also hasn't really won much in recent years. Since the 2020 season, Busch has only had 4 wins, 1 in 2020, 2 in 2021, and 1 this season at Bristol Dirt. And this is with Joe Gibbs Racing, one of the top dogs of the sport, A-tier team in terms of all the teams, and now he's leaving to go to RCR, who is more of a B-tier team. They don't have the best offer, but, you know, you look at what Tyler Reddick has done this season, even given all the inner turmoil within that team throughout much of the season, up to this point, he still has gotten 3 wins in that 8 car, you know, including one recent one at Texas Motor Speedway. Now keep in mind, RCR has already announced Kyle Busch will take over the 8 car for 2023 and beyond. And now Reddick will be taking over the 45 car over at 23XI, the Toyota team, basically the little brother to JGR. So definitely a little awkward there, kind of exchanging, kind of like a little trade-off there. But yeah, Kyle Busch certainly takes Joe Gibbs and his departure from his longtime team to heart. Well, that's going to do it for this one, boys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to click that like button. And again, be sure to subscribe to stick around for more NASCAR content. Comment what you think of Kyle Busch's emotional response to leaving Joe Gibbs. Other than that, see y'all next time.